Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Friday Night Live with myself and my beautiful co-host, Scott Goyette, where we bring you amazing guests that are tapped into making your mind shift, making your attitude shift, making your perspective shift, making your belief shift. So we thank you for being here on this fabulous Friday night. Hope you guys are all doing amazing. We always appreciate you guys being here. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, do we have an amazing guest for you tonight? But first, we just want to start off by saying we are sending our hearts, our thoughts, and our prayers out to everybody who is struggling right now. You know, there's a lot of fires going on. There's a lot of storms going on. There's a lot of social injustice and things that are going on. A lot of people are hurting right now. So we just want to start off the show by just sending all of you guys a huge amount of love and respect and let you guys know that we're here for you. But every week here on Friday Night Live, we bring you amazing guests, or it's just Scott and myself, where we just really just want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with our guests and just really dig into what it is that makes them successful, what it is that has gotten them to where they are, so that you, the viewer, can actually take some notes. Yes, take some notes and actually do something with the information versus getting all pumped up and thinking, oh, it was a great show. You know, our real desire here is for you guys to grow and to expand, just like all of us. We bring guests on the show that have actually expanded and grown. And that's kind of the thing, is just taking you along on our journey with us so that you can see how we're growing and how you can grow as well. Because listen, if I could go from being a 7th grade homeless dropout, living in the backseat of a station wagon, digging through garbage cans, all these different things, to being where I'm at today, you can do the same thing. And that's what we're here to prove every single Friday, bringing you a spirited conversation, asking the deep questions on things, just so that you can walk away and say, hey, listen, I've got another thing that I can put in my tool belt. And not only that, we invite you, especially if you're new to the show, is to dig in with us in the comments, ask us questions, engage with us. This is like a conversation at a bar. It's us talking, and then you guys kind of on the periphery saying, hey, what's up with that? And asking us questions and everything. But it's my pleasure to welcome the amazing Mr. Scott Goyette. Mr. Scott Goyette, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, dude, I'm good. I was doing what you were talking about. I had one outfit on. I heard you talking about expansion and doing new things. I ran and changed. So I got this new blue shirt. You never see me with a light blue shirt.
Never seen you with a light blue shirt. No.
And you know what? It feels okay. It feels okay. It's new.
Are you good?
It's uncomfortable. Well, it's actually very comfortable. It's just new for me, but I really like it. And I put a new necklace on.
Are you touching yourself right now?
Yes. Yes. Look at that. It's got, I don't even know what it is. It's shiny.
In love you. Do you know that song, The Vinyls?
Touch myself. Touch myself.
I met the lead singer. I used to work at Virgin Records. You don't know this, but I worked at Virgin Records in Beverly Hills for about 6 months. And I worked in the publicity department. And it was so funny. I was doing like all the dirt stuff. And they came in one day and they said, hey, the lead singer of the Divinyls is coming in. They had the song out there that was like huge at the time. And they're like, but do not talk to her and do not look at her cat. I'm like, huh? I'm like 19 years old. And she's like, don't look at her cat. I'm like, I love cats. What? Screw you people. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care if you're famous or whatever. And so this lady comes in and she's got her cat and she's like this. She was this total prima donna woman, but I walked up and I just totally started petting her cat. I had really long hair and I just walked up to her and I said, hey, I can't remember her name now, but I walked up. It's a pleasure to meet you. I really dig your song. I love that. I'd love to know what the inspiration is of it. And by the way, I love your cat. I said, I just really love your cat. And behind her was the vice president of public relations or publicity department. And she's like,
don't do it. Don't do it.
And then she's like, oh my God, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. And it was so cool because I was like,
nah.
Well, you look great. How are you feeling, dude? What do you got going on this weekend?
So,
hello, Nicole. Hello, Louisa. Hey, what's up? Thank you for being here. Larry, thank you for being here.
Doing a lake house weekend. Like I was telling you, there's a new whiskey distillery. It's actually been around for a while, but we just found it right near our lake place. And so it's amazing. So we're going to go over there, bring the in-laws, drive around the golf cart, see how long we can drive, how much whiskey it takes us not to be able to drive it.
You have a golf cart?
You have to have a golf cart if you have a lake house.
Oh, dude, I'm so coming out there and destroying it. We're going to get drunk and go jump it.
There you go.
No, I don't like ruining people's shit anymore.
I used to too, especially when it's my own, because I don't want to have to replace it. It costs money. It's not as much fun.
Yeah, that's still fun in the moment. You can still look at it. Whiskey. Speaking of whiskey, I was just showing you guys real quick, but might as well do a commercial for you guys. Hey, if anybody out there is a whiskey drinker, I like trying different whiskeys. So this is a Screwball. It's peanut butter whiskey. So ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are whiskey drinkers out there, this stuff, look at how beautifully golden it is.
It's called peanut butter whiskey?
Yeah, it's peanut butter whiskey. I never had it before. My wife got it. And yeah, you can't have too much of it. It's like, it's like the what is it? the Jack Daniels, the vanilla Jack Daniels or whatever the hell it is. I can only have a couple of those because it's so sweet, but it's just like a nice after dinner drink or something like that. But I was like, peanut butter whiskey, really? What are they gonna come out with, broccoli whiskey next? I don't know.
I don't need that.
But you drink whiskey?
I do. I'm a real, like, I can't. So we were talking about the other day when we had our show the other day during the day. I can't drink whiskey unless it's really, really, really good whiskey. So I'll buy like the most expensive stuff, but I don't want to drink it a lot because it's so pricey. But this place that we go to, it's called something Fire Wolf. So I forget the name of the place, but they have a whiskey that's like Fireball, but it's not. It doesn't have all those chemicals and all that stuff that's in antifreeze. So it's got like pure organic cinnamon. Dude, that was good. You have that. I mean, it's so good. I could do shots of that all day long. So,
nice.
So the answer is yes. I do drink whiskey if it's the right whiskey.
So I'm just going to put this in your ear right now. When I come to Austin, I expect Jack Daniels, Frank Sinatra whiskey there.
We'll get something.
I haven't bought. I think it's like $100 and something a bottle. Even I'm like, yeah, it's probably not that much better than Gentleman Jack.
You want to get Blanton's, dude. It's amazing. I got it years ago. We're at a party that, somebody gives you some great whiskey, and then I went to buy it. It's like $80-100 a bottle. You can only get it once in a while. You can pre-order it from Total Wine, but it is so smooth. So good.
I love it. Hey, Ellie Nicole, what's up? Julie, my friend Julie is in the house. Thank you for being here, Julie. I met Julie speaking on stage in Vegas at a mailing convention of all things. And I walk up there in the bandana and everything. She's like, yeah. What's up, Julie? Julie says, Christopher Rausch, bring your wife and come to Chili?
Golf carts.
Did you say chill or chili? We have golf carts and fifth wheels. Hell yeah. I would totally be down for that. I think she said chill, but she's probably been having drinks already. But anyway, speaking of, actually, Ellie Nicole. Ellie, hi, nice to see you. Welcome.
Stars are good.
Have you tried whiskeys? I've tried whiskey everything. I've tried whiskey through, I'm just going to say it anyway, through belly buttons. Yeah, I've had whiskey through belly buttons. I think that's probably the craziest thing I've ever done. Belly button shots.
Okay.
What's up, Louisa? Thank you so much for being here. Louisa, you are amazing. You're so cool. I think you talked to Scott, didn't you? Did you talk to Scott? Was that the one you were saying you were talking to?
I just spoke to Ellie Nicole, and I also spoke. Yes, I've had a few conversations this week with some amazing people, and it's been really nice to connect with everybody.
Ooh, Larry Schneider in the house. Thank you, Kick-Ass Larry. Hey, if you guys need water, go see Larry. Kanga Water, Kick-Ass Water, go see Larry. Larry is an amazing dude. But speaking of Fireball, our guest tonight,
a Fireball,
is a Fireball. I could see her smiling from ear to ear backstage. She's like, oh yeah. Then I know she's a Fireball because I had Motley Crue playing before we went on air, and she comes in. She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah. Johanna Godinez, what's up, darling? How are you, beautiful?
I'm awesome. Thank you for having me. This is so great. I love this happy hour format of this, more relaxed.
Yeah. I mean, we dive deep into stuff, but we also have a good time doing it. I mean, because that's life. And that's the way I view life. That's the way Scott views life. It's like, you got to take shit seriously, but at the same time, why not have a good time doing it? So many people take shit so seriously. They're like, it's like, hey, it's Friday clock. It's Friday clock. Ooh, Friday clock.
I like
Friday
that.
Friday clock. Chris, you just
Friday clock somewhere, everywhere.
Exactly.
Chris, you just explained exactly what we need to do. We need to have an RV, and we need to travel from city to city every Friday, show up in a different city, have a live happy hour, and all our shows are live in different cities. So hurry up and get over COVID. That's what Chris. I know, Barb. Yes. I got to steal Chris for a year. My wife is trying to get rid of me for a year anyway, so this is going to work out perfectly.
Dude,
that sounds like fun.
I would do that in New York second. We could get so many people. We could make it like a full-on motivational kick-ass roadshow.
Oh my God. Those are things that will really happen. No jokes, no jokes. Very serious. I'll do that.
I ask my wife. I talk about it all the time. I'm like, I would sell everything. I have a 69 Dodge Charger that I've had since I was 18 years old. It's my favorite car. I used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard and just be like, oh my God, I gotta have the General Lee and Catherine Bach, by the way. Daisy at that time.
Daisy Duke, yeah.
I feel bad. She's gotten old. We all get old. But anyways, I had to have that car. But I even told her, I said, I would sell everything, both houses, everything, and buy a really kick-ass, huge RV coach that I'd be scared shitless to drive, and just go hit the road and just go see like every state and every city, and just go stop and volunteer and go help and, do motivational speech, whatever you could do just to kind of spread the love and just have a good time, just going and meeting people and connecting with people. I wanted to do that full time, but I've actually talked to some people who do full time. Actually, Julie, I think is so I've kind of changed my mind a little bit about full timing. But yeah, to do a tour like that, dude, that would be fucking amazing.
Amazing.
You in,
Yeah,
John?
and we've
Oh, I
got
would
some
so
other
do that.
people. We've got some people. We've got like some of the Fritz brothers. We've got videographers. We've got people who, you know, like do the music. We would have somebody who would want to join, who would fill every skill set to make sure that it's insane, and you'd have the best company. So if you're having a bad day, nobody would let you get down. There would be somebody going, "That's not gonna happen. You're coming back up and smiling." So it would be good. I like
No,
it.
that would be amazing. But I don't know if Johanna could join us, because Johanna, you are literally, when are you actually taking off to Ireland?
Monday.
Monday. So you're leaving
Yes.
beautiful San Diego, where you're at right now, and you and your hubs and your dog are going to Ireland for an adventure. Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
I am exchanging the beach for castles. How about that?
Best.
I'm super excited. You know, Ireland has a lot of rich energy and ancient energy, and knowing how much I geek out into that, I'm just excited to go visit those places. And there's a lot of hidden history there, crop circles and fun things that you can go see. So I'm just really excited to go travel. So the first couple of weeks we have to quarantine, which is like a forced honeymoon by the Irish government, which thank you for that.
So you get, so 9 months from 14 days from now.
What's
What's
up?
the day?
I said 9 months from 14 days from after you get there.
What about it?
I don't know what he's
You're
going.
gonna
I can't figure out where he's going with
14
that.
days with your husband.
Oh, well,
Okay.
I'm just,
And then
yeah.
9 months after that,
That's not good. See, my brain doesn't even go there, because that's never gonna happen. Yeah, that's not in our plans.
2 words I never use: never and always.
Oh, I went through early menopause. It's not happening. No.
Really,
you go.
menopause? You're only 22. Shut up.
Yeah, I wish, right? Isn't it amazing? No, I went through menopause at 32. Shut the front door. Yeah, so
Wow.
You,
it was,
you can say anything here.
like
Shut
an
the front door.
autoimmune thing. Yes. Well, not that I care though. If it's gonna happen to anyone, I'm glad it happened to me, because I've honestly never wanted kids. I've always known that I've had some kind of purpose to fulfill something in this life. And I know that if I have one little person, then my whole world is going to become that person. And I just know that that's not really the intention of the universe with me. So I've always known that it wasn't. But now I'm an auntie. I'm Auntie Joe, and I have 11 nieces and nephews. So that'll be interesting.
Damn, 11 nieces and nephews. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I don't
2?
have any, but there's 6 in
Oh.
his family. So yeah.
Dang. Oh, that's right. You're an only child. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us, Johanna, what has the world called you to do, that you're going to skip out on that part of the aspect, and that you're so driven to do what you got to do? What is it that you do?
Oh my God, enlighten people to the actual point of this existence. You know, like everyone's so caught up on this rat race that they think that life is keeping up with the Joneses, and like they don't sit back and get to know who they are and truly what they can give to the world. You know, when I did ayahuasca, my whole purpose was to figure out what is the point of the game of life. Because I had figured out that much. Life is a game, right? We're in the matrix. How do you win? Because I'm such a competitive person. There has to be a point to all this. And I got slapped in the face by Aya. And she was just telling me, like, dude, you just need to play the game. You need to affect the game. You need to impact the game. Good, bad, ugly. You just need to play. If you don't play, you're just like non-existent. Like the whole point of you having consciousness is to create, and it's to have this adventure. You know, my funnest way of thinking about it is this is God hiding. You know, and he's playing hide and seek within us and attempting to create new stuff within us where it's hard, where he can't just like snap his fingers and make it happen. So I'm just really excited to share that message, you know, and especially now people are so lost with what they don't understand. It's a good message to listen to.
What do you think about that, Mr. Scott? I know you dabbled.
What do you think? I think, you know what I think.
I saw your smile. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you know, there's my mirror. There's Johanna, the mirror to Scott, Scott the mirror to Johanna. Hello.
Yeah.
So, you know, by the way, I want to tell you something, Chris, both you guys. So I've always said that there's 4 places that we can be in our existence. We can be in victim, And until today, I was at the pool today, and I used to call it perpetrator. I've changed it. It's sophomore. You can either be a victim, a sophomore, a savior, or a player. So I love the fact that you use player.
Say it one more time.
Victim, sophomore, savior, or player. So victim is exactly what we think it is. Sophomore, the word popped into my brain from universe when I was sitting at the pool. I was thinking, I was like, what's really the right word? Because I used to call it perpetrator, because it's once the person stops being a victim, they look back at the victim and say, I'm not a victim, and they think they've won the game. Sophomore is a much better word because it's wise fool. You've got some bit of wisdom, so you're going towards player, but you're still such a fool. And then you get to savior, and you have the illusion that now that I'm saving the planet, I've got this program called Go Love Now. I'm going to save the planet. Chris, you and I are going to save the planet. Here's how we save the planet. We play. Once you step outside that need to save everything, like, here's the thing. People aren't watching the show or connecting with us because we're saving them. We're modeling a certain playfulness and behavior and honesty while we're trying to fix things and adjust things. But that comes through play. I mean, we're drinking drinks while we're doing this. We're deciding what necklace to wear. We're changing our shirts to be crazy. I mean, that's what the game is. And people receive that. They're like, what are you on? What are you guys doing? It's like when Harry met Sally, like, I want what she's having. That's it. It's
the greatest orgasm ever.
Simple. But you got to get over those attachments to everything you're going to save.
I love that because I remember one time I was teaching a yoga class and I walked in. It was a class that I taught at 7 a.m. on a Saturday, right? So I walk in, smile ear to ear, happy to be there. And this woman walks up to me and she's like, you must be the happiest person in the world. And I took a step back and I was like, does she think that because I'm like this, that I somehow don't have any problems or that my life is perfect? So I don't usually bring in my personal life to classes, but I sat down and I was like, listen, guys, I was like, I had $1 million idea that I had to walk away from because the guy that I was doing it with ended up stealing some stuff and I would have been involved in something shitty. I am now living in someone's couch until I can figure this out, and I need to get lawyers to protect my ideas and just because I have issues, me walking in here and sharing that energy with you wouldn't serve me and wouldn't serve you in any way. I am able to separate myself from my issues and from my situation and be able to come here and teach you a beautiful yoga class and give you all of my great energy because I, as a person and as a being, am not affected by the stupid things that are happening around me in my world, by the shitty things that other people did. That doesn't make me a different person, and it's not going to make me give something different of myself. Ellie, I love that. That is so awesome.
I remember you.
Yes.
That's a Skid Row song, by the way.
No, she said she was there.
She's like, I was there.
Oh.
She's like, oh yeah.
You know, because we also have to be authentic, and I want people to understand that just because you share your light doesn't mean that you've never had a problem or your life is somehow perfect. It just means that you choose to share your light. Like you choose not, oh, since I'm having a shitty day, let me just enlighten you about how shitty my day is so that your day can get shitty too. You know, like, yeah.
Like, oh, your day was shitty, so I'm shitty, and then I'm shitty. And it's like, oh, wow, we're both shitty. Let's go commiserate.
Yeah, and that's not to say that there's not going to be a day when you're just going to be like, fuck, and just vent, you know? But it's not staying in that space. It's understanding that the second you remain in that space, that's all that you're attracting. That's all that you're becoming a magnet to. So it's easier to remain in it. And I know, especially now that we're in a space where so many people are in the fear of the unknown, it's much harder to be in a space of playfulness and everything's great. But if you don't foster that within yourself, you are literally living in your own poison, like within your mind.
Exactly. Victim versus victor. It's like, what mindset do you choose? Do you choose to use your story as like, oh, poor me, this is the reason why I can't do shit. This is the reason why I'm holding myself back, versus saying, okay, I'm using all that garbage. You know, I'll tell people to say, use your trash for treasure. Like, what is it that you got in your story? You've got all sorts of stuff. Okay, pack that all up and use it to help other people. Sit there and make it serve a purpose to say that everything's happening for you and not to you, and then bundle that up and say that's how you become a victor. I mean, that's why the three of us are here today, is because we've taken all of our shit that we've gone through in our past, because I know both of you know. And we're here and we choose. That's, I mean, I'm trying. I always say that life is simple, and I'm really like dialing in on that. I'm gonna create a book. It's gonna be about that thick, and it's gonna be life is simple. It's like, if you're not happy, change it. You know, if you keep thinking that you're a victim, then choose to be a victor. I mean, do you guys think it's that easy to make a choice to like just redirect your attention and be able to go forward with that, or does it entail more?
I mean, it's not that it's that easy, because it's not like snapping your fingers.
No.
But like, once you become aware, then it's a choice. Like, do I stay there or do I do something about it? So like, if you're choosing to stay there, then you're repeating. So I always say, like, if you get up every morning and the same story that you were telling yourself the day before is literally picking up, like you're like on this wheel and on this thread, then you need to somehow cut that. And the only way to cut that is once you become aware, you decide, like, what do I want to be thinking about? And that's the biggest thing that I teach my clients. Like, first you have to reflect, what is it that I want to be thinking about? Because remember, so you said something about this is happening for us. It's not just that it's happening for us. It's happening because of the decisions that you've made in your life as well. So what did you do to get to this point? Not to once again become a victim of your story and to tell yourself how shitty you are for getting yourself in this situation, but more to be able to see, okay, what mistake did I make? What could I have chosen that would have led me to a different place? And why didn't I make that choice? And then how do I make that choice moving forward? Because it's all about moving forward. It's about evolving as a soul. Yes. Your soul, your inner soul. That's why we're here. So when you're stuck in the battle between good and evil doesn't exist. And I tell this to people all the time. Like, that is a concept that's made up by man in this, that's the realm of the psychic realm, which is the realm that we're in, the realm of duality, the realm of up, down, in, out. It's the only way that we perceive things. But really, the battle is between energy and the material. And that has to do even with your chakras. Like, if you're too stuck in the material world, you don't evolve as a soul, because you're not looking at the bigger things that you're supposed to learn in life. You are stuck in this all earth.
Yep.
So the battle is, how much do I hang on to this material, and how much do I let my energy be controlled by this material? And the energy is yours. And whether you know it or not, you are in control of its fluctuations by the thoughts and the conversations that you have. So a lot of it is just, once you become aware, reflect, what got me here? What can I learn? And then what can I do today to start moving forward? Even if it's making one decision to make a change. And that's powerful. We've talked about that. One decision will give you that power. We'll start to activate that solar plexus chakra and your willpower. And once you activate it and you realize, well, if I can make that change, then I can make another change. And if I can make that other change, well, shit, then I can try making that one. And once you empower yourself, I was watching this movie about this guy who had let himself go. And then he decided out of nowhere to go be a military. And now he's been like through the Army Reserve, through the Marines, through like a Navy SEAL. Like, he's gone.
Is that David Goggins? Sounds like you're talking about David Goggins.
Oh, Goggins. Yeah. Goggins is crazy.
Yeah.
I got hooked on him for like 2 months. I watched everything he did.
So Johanna, listen to everything you're saying. And that's why my answer to Chris's question is yes. So the possibility is without question there that we could go at the lowest level of victim to the highest level of player like that. But just like gaining weight, or just like, getting old, like not older, but getting more decrepit because we don't choose to do the healthy things. Those things take time. So we have this illusion we have to take the same road back. The truth is we can slingshot ourselves to that spot. We've just never used the slingshot. So there's many roads to get there. Because I'll tell you this, like this shit, like I'm a hardcore person. Like my polarity is like, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go. I mean, Chris and I were talking yesterday, and I can't even tell you half the things I've done in my life, because then you wouldn't take me seriously. So But there's some crazy things that I've done. And then the next minute, I'm like, no, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to do ayahuasca. I'm going to go meet shaman. I'm going to take all the courses. I'm going to go dive so deeply in that I'm going to fully transform to a deeper spiritual self. And both of them I go all in with. So for me, I see that you can do it in a moment. And I know that's not everybody's supposed personality, but you nailed it. The personality is a component of the human existence. The energy source has nothing to do with personality. We match up, like we try to match up on personalities. Like I'm going to go to match.com and I'm going to find somebody who, because I'm this way and they're this way, together we'll come together and we'll be together. No. Find the same vibration with intent to increase your vibration. You could be polar opposites, exactly the same personality wise. You will grow together. The mistakes that we make as human are all not understanding energy, period. I'm going to take a drink. That's all it is.
Marlene, what you just said is so dead on. Yeah. Pain. If you actually take pain for what it is, that it's just something telling you, hey, hello, this is something you need to pay attention to, whether it's pain in your back or it's pain in a muscle or it's pain that you're feeling mentally, it's something telling you, hey, I need your attention for whatever reason. Yes. So yes, pain, once you get through and you start to see it and not run from it and you start to head it. You know, one of my things with my yoga school is I always say the only way out is through. Mm. And it's because when you put things aside and you don't go through them and you don't actually reflect on them and go through the lesson and go through the pain and you just kind of hide everything, you don't actually deal with it or learn from it. You just kind of decide that somehow that's a part of you want to hide. And Scott, absolutely. There's things that if I told people that I've done, they would never take me seriously or they would think this girl is insane. However, it's what's led me to be able to have this frame of mind and to be able to understand the world 100%. In that way. So to that, you know, it's one of those things where like, I realize how important it is for people to perceive you a certain way. But within my own experience, I would never change it for the world because it is those fuck ups. And some of them have been royal ones that I have like literally catapulted me towards growing so much that if you ask me, would you do it again? I would say painfully, yes. Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't be the same person.
People have asked me, you know, like, because you get this question all the time, what's the, you know, the highlight of your existence or the most beautiful day in your world or whatever, however they phrase it. I always come back, instead of saying the day I married my wife, instead of saying the day I saw my daughter's eyes, you know, like come into existence, the days that were most wow weren't the days that are most memorable. I fell through a glass table, died, and they literally brought me back to life. That's the best day because I'm in excruciating pain thinking my parts might not work. This went right underneath my private parts into my body. So I'm like, oh God, so nothing's going to work. My life's over. Like, I don't even know what's going on. And to me,
a girl now,
but that's the point. That's the instant contrast pretty much for, you know, not really, but it's all fine now, but they fixed me. Good doctors. So, but just imagine that massive shift from you're playing college sports, you're in the best shape of your life, you're 19 years old, everything's full speed ahead, and boom, you're done. You can't work out, you can't do this, you're not a cool kid, you're walking around with like, you know, what do you call that thing? What's that thing that they put in you that the catheter? You're walking around with a catheter.
Tampon, maxi pad, what are you trying to go for?
I got tampons and maxi pad. The point being is you're not what you were yesterday. And you're forced into it, and you've got to still see what am I made of. And I walked around laughing, making jokes. People were like, "Are you okay? Like, are you all right?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna play basketball this season." 2 months later, I was playing basketball. They told me I would never play football or basketball again because I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm like, you will not stop me. Now, it was probably stupid if I got bumped the wrong way. Like anything could have happened. I'm like, you will not stop me. That's the point. That's the universe saying we're not going to give you the lessons you were saying, oh, I have a little pain, or the knock. Mine have to be freight trains. I have to be literally like, we're going to kill you and then see, okay, now are you ready to live right? And I'm like, yes, let's do it. That's exactly what I wanted. And that's my personality, and that's messed up, but that's what I want to share. I want people to get to that point where you can go from here to there in light speed if you're willing. And
Let's,
You're not the
well,
only one that it takes like everything. How many
No.
people have to hit that rock bottom even to start looking to see if there might be an issue?
Totally.
rock bottom or the bottom.
The tap, the knock, the punch to the face, the elbow to the head, the train wreck. I mean, it just keeps going till we're like, do you have to kill me? Yes. You gotta kill me.
Sometimes Julie says here, she goes, for me, it's not easy. I have to consciously remind myself that I am a survivor and I can help others with my story. Absolutely, Julie. What do you guys think of that? How do you help people go from, because I went through this experience last year, so I can offer my comments definitely. But I'm Julie, I totally agree with you. I've always been a survivor. And up until last year when I had my coach, and she's like, and she was from New Zealand, so she says, fuck, mate. She goes, get out of survivor mode and get into thriver mode. And I'm like, I thought I was in thriver mode. She goes, no, you keep looking at things as you're trying to survive. You're trying to hold on. You're trying to keep. You're trying to, you need to let go and understand that it's all going to still be there and that you can go for more and just be yourself and kind of fall into that. What advice would you have for somebody who's like me? I mean, I had the greatest coach in the world who was able to get me out of it. But what would you say to somebody who has always been a survivor and you want to teach them how to be a thriver? Great question, Julie. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. The main thing is, changing your mindset, obviously, but how do you change your mindset, right? So it's thinking we don't lack anything at the moment. Like as we are sitting here having this conversation, even if there's something quote unquote missing in my life, there's not actually really anything missing. So it's changing the mindset of not thinking that you're going to lose something, but only thinking about how much you have to gain. And that's especially important if you're working on something new and you're working on a new project or on a new idea. It's just understanding that you have much more to gain than you have to lose. So how do I find a way to minimize my losses or minimize the way that I can lose, and then working on how I can gain more? And writing everything down is my main thing. Reflecting. I always tell people you got to reflect on what's important to you, what you'd like to create in your life, so that those are the things that you can put your energy and your focus towards, because that's really what you're going to create. Source. Yes. Love and source. So you will always know. See, no one is the same. And that's where a lot of us have it wrong. When you're thinking like somebody else is taking something from you, or you're not trusting the universe with things, like abundance is everywhere. No matter what you have, as long as you're giving it and you're giving it openly, there is enough for everyone. So it's really important to understand that we are just in an abundant universe. Like the universe wants us to be in this experience and actually like enjoying it and being creative in it, not just suffering through it. Suffering is part of it, yes, but it's not the point of it. So when we just sit in the suffering, we miss on a lot of the growth and a lot of the gratitude. Even as I sit here right now, I could choose to be like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm leaving the country. I'm going somewhere. I don't really know what's going on. I could be in that space. But I mean, no, I'm just excited about a new adventure, looking forward to the things I can create. And it's all about, it's a choice. I choose to think one way, I choose to think another way. So it's just kind of, but the most important thing is you need to know what you want to think about. So the reflection is the part that we miss the most. While you're watching television and you're scrolling through your Facebook or you're scrolling through your YouTube, you are not taking the time to think about yourself. You are just being driven by different things that are popping up in front of you. It doesn't give you time to reflect and hear what's going on. Silence is the only thing that does that. And someone mentioned earlier about meditation. Yes. And meditation, people have this idea of like, you have to be sitting down and you have to be doing this and you have to be doing that. And really it's just finding some silence. Just relax, find some silence and just think, how did I get here? What would I like to create? What would be fun to make out of my life? What am I really good at? What can I share with others? And from that, just kind of build your own self up.
Yes, Julie.
Oh, yeah, go Julie.
Go Julie. Go Julie. It's a great, honestly, what you're saying, Johanna, is exactly what Scott and I talk about, is the fact that you have to get back to the place where you're childlike. We lose that innocence. I have a 3.5-year-old son, and God is my witness. Every day I wake up, and a few times a day I say, my intention today is to be present and playful with my son. And that is not easy for me because, like we were saying before about kids, I was not a kid person. My wife knows that. We actually broke up when we were dating because I was like, kids, no, I've got shit to do. I'm gonna massively conquer this world. I had huge dreams to take over Tony Robbins. I mean, I was like I'm gonna conquer this world and I'm gonna fix it the fuck up right now. And then, I met Barb and I was like, all right. And then she was like, that's a deal breaker for me. And I'm like, all right. And she was 22, I was 32. And I'm like, all right, when I'm 40 and you're 30, we'll have a kid. And then amazingly enough, it didn't happen and all these other things. But now I'm in this position because everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for you. I was at the beach the other day and I can't remember if I even told you this, Scott. This is another thing I had a learning lesson. I forgot. I don't think I told you this. I told you that other thing, but present and playful. I say that every single day because my son is one of the most important aspects of my life. I won't say people, or he's one of the most important aspects of my life to make sure that I do a great job cultivating his personality and his drive so that he can continue my legacy to make the world a better place. That's all I want for him. However he does it, whatever he does, I just want to make the world a better place. If he's a boxer at a grocery store, hey, everybody have a great day. Here's a little tidbit or something like that, whatever. But I saw him playing with his sand stuff. And I like going to the beach, but I don't like getting sand on me. For whatever reason, I'm just like, I don't like that grittiness and that dirtiness and everything. And I just stopped myself and I'm like, Chris, when you were 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, you had sand all over you, just like your son does. And guess what? It washes off. And so I was like, I choose right now to go be present and playful. And I got out in the sand. I got sand all over me. We were playing. And I was digging and making sand castles. And I'm like, at first I was like, and honestly, I was like, I really don't want to do this because, and then I got into it and I'm like, oh my God. And I was taking his monster trucks and we made a track. And I was like, Chris, you're 6 years old again. This is fun. That's what you need to bring into life. Not necessarily playing in the sand with trucks, but playing in your life and figuring out what you want to do. So I love how your aspect is about going to Ireland. You're like, you could choose to be, oh my God, am I making the right decision? This is scary. What's going to happen when I get over there? Are they going to look at me? And you're like, this is an adventure. And what 6-year-old would not want to go on an adventure? So we need to get in touch with our childlike selves. Do you guys agree with that?
Absolutely. My mentor always says to play with kids younger than 7 at least once a week and to find a way to connect, whether it's you having kids or nieces and nephews or or if you want to go ahead and volunteer some time with children. But yeah, that place, the thing is this, society is the only thing that makes it so that we somehow have to grow up to be this thing and to fit in this. That's why I'm an MBA who chose to be a yoga teacher, because being a yoga teacher means that I can be doing handstands all day, and I can be 37 and doing handstands and no one's going to say anything about it just because I chose it as a career. So I had to figure out how to make a life out of being playful, because otherwise I was immature, or I never chose to grow up, or whatever, so it's one of those things where, again, it's a choice, and you made the right choice, because once you're in it and you're in the present moment, you forget about the grittiness of the sand in between your fingers, and you forget about all of those things that annoy you so much, and you can actually just smile for what it is. So what was holding you back in the end matters not once you're in the middle of it. And that's the cool thing about being in the present. When you're taking your expectations and your past and your situations aside, and you can just kind of see the situation for what it is, then you can actually truly enjoy it without that baggage that comes from your past experiences being thrown on the present in order for you to somehow create a story around it, so that's beautiful that you let yourself go, because I'm sure that meant the world to him.
Yeah. What about you, Scott? You present and playful?
Oh God, yeah.
I know that for sure.
So it was, I love listening to Johanna, because I'm listening to your words. And, one of the things that I do when I sit in the show is, my kind of role here is I listen to people and then I try to think of how I'm going to reprocess that and make sure I can spoon feed the summary back if there's something I think that the audience might have missed. And I'm listening to everything you're saying. I'm like, yep. It's all boom, boom, boom. It's like my head is literally in your head. It's crazy. As you're saying, I'm like, the next thing I would cover is I'm like, there she goes. And the next thing there she goes. And then, so it's funny. But I do want to say one thing. I was listening to Julie, and it's Julie, right? I can't see very well.
Yep. Julie.
Yeah.
Yep.
So one of the things, and go back to what Chris said too, with simplicity. I mean, here's the point. If we're an extension and we're perspective points of God, let's just sit in this universe. So God spawns consciousness into us. So we're these playful entities that are creating. Now, to the point that Johanna made, we've got, are we in a world of darkness and light or good and bad? Those extremes only do one thing. They provide the opportunity for contrast. So by providing extreme, it's the greater opportunity to live more crazy. You can do more and more and more with extremes. So think of this. If you're sitting in this world and and Johanna said it, she said, I think you used the word perfect or sense of lack. There's your thought of lack is just, it's an illusion. You are perfect. And I know there's religions that tell us this is not the truth, and there's mindsets. If you're an extension of source, of creator, you're perfect.
Yes.
The identity that's been built for you denies that perfection. So simplicity, right? We're going to pull all of this stuff away, forget everything else we're talking about. You're perfect. Your identity that's created by others has told you you're not. They were wrong. That's it. So when you're sitting here saying it's harder for me or whatever, you're correct, because the identity has been built with some mortar that's really strong. Keep coming to places like this where people remind you your perfection. Don't deny it. Remember it. And you might think it's taken a while. You might think, oh, I don't know if I can get there. Listen to the words you're saying. If you don't think it's literally this simple. The minute you believe it and you're around people who believe it, together that energy will bring you there. I promise you. Now, like Chris and I have a coaching program, Johanna's coaching. Those things will help get you there more quickly. But the simple truth is, you really do have the power to do it on your own. There's just been so much bullshit that's been laid in front of you that's convinced you couldn't. That's why the program, the love and the fear model, they're so simple. One helps you see and connect more clearly. One helps you cut the baggage. And then there you are in your perfection. And then you got to figure out, do I put sand in my pants? Do I build, what am I going to do today? And then it's literally that fun. That you did tell me about that, Chris, because you actually wrote me a text. You go, what's going to be great is getting sand out of my son's crack. So you already fully...
He was scooting like my cat across the ocean or across the dirt for like 6 feet. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to have sand up his ass for like the next 5 months. He just like scooting. He's all having fun. I'm just like, and I'm sitting here judging. I want to tell him not to do that. I'm like, he's having fun. Shut the hell up.
Did you do it? Did you drag your butt crack?
I want to talk about this for a second. I love what Robert says. Thank you so much for being here, Robert. We appreciate it. It's the scarcity mindset. The only one I knew growing up. Same here. I grew up being poor. I grew up being thankful for crackers. I mean, that scarcity mindset is something that my coach helped me through with the survivor thing. She's like, no, man, abundance, and think about what it was so great. But what do you guys think about that? That scarcity mindset, that lack mindset that holds us back so significantly. How can we help people who are living with that?
Well, I think the second that you start looking at life as something that's a little bit more of an exciting adventure and stop taking it so seriously, it becomes a little easier. Part of the issue is we're so stuck in the material. Again, it's not a battle between good and evil. It's a battle between our energetic self and our source self and our creative self that's perfect, like Scott said, and is connected to everything, and this material world that's trying to create this illusion. We have been conditioned for so long to believe that we're not good enough, to believe that we're not powerful beings, to believe that somehow we're missing something and we have to fulfill somehow somebody else's thought of perfection. And the fact of the matter is that the only thing we're here to see is that we have perfection, and there's something out there that we are really good at, and there's something out there that we can share with others and that we can share with the world. And while we're so stuck attempting to compete with other people or keeping up with the Joneses or stuck in this material world, we're forgetting that as energies of light and of vibration, we're here to create and to manifest. And as we're thinking about all of those things that are holding us down here, we're not being creative and we're not manifesting because we're scared of everything we have to lose. And the fact of the matter is, either you're scared of what you have to lose or you're excited about what you have to gain. But it's kind of hard to kind of be in that same space. And that doesn't mean that taking chances is going to come without its own fears or its own potential backfires, right? But the most important thing that I teach my clients is prepare yourself. So if you're starting a new business and you have a job already, don't quit your job. Start it on the side. And once you have enough money, maybe you hire someone else and you still keep your job and get your pension and still have a company that you can create this huge financial freedom with. You know, it's like if you prepare yourself in a way where you can't lose or you have less chances to lose and you look at the opportunities that you have to gain, then you're also focused on the opportunities and not on what can go wrong. Because as we mentioned before, if you're focusing on what can go wrong, then that's what you're attracting. So as you're just focusing on the creative part of it, that's the energy that you're magnetizing towards you. And guys, if you don't understand this about energy, you can look it up. We vibrate at different levels. Fear, like it's in the Hertz scale. Like fear would be at the bottom and it's at like a 70, and then you have like hatred and you have all of these things and they go up, and someone who's enlightened and is at the top is at like a 700. And when you meditate, when you get like really deep into it, and I can teach you how to do that, you can feel the vibration like within your body, and you can harness a higher vibration, which helps you feel better, and it releases endorphins. So our perfection means that our minds have the power to cure us. They have the power to shift from one thing to another and to believe from one thing to another. Again, I was like Scott said, you know, he was told that he would never be able to do something. You know what the difference is? The placebo effect. He didn't believe it. He didn't give a shit what anybody else said. He was like, fuck you and your diagnosis. You're not determining what I'm doing with my life. Yeah. And that's where, when you are told you have 6 months to live, if you swallow that and you make it true, you will create your own ticking bomb and you will create your own countdown towards your demise. But if you decide to say, time is an illusion created by man, so your 6 months, shove them up your ass. I'm going to live as long as I need to live. That's the different mindset. So it's, when I was told I couldn't lift my arm, and my big thing was, most humans live down here. And, oh, you'll never do yoga again. You'll never do that again. I found a way to make it happen. Is it perfect? No, but my body's smart. So it lets me. It compensated in ways where other muscles learn to figure it out. And now I can do it again. So just because somebody doesn't understand doesn't mean that it's impossible. It just means that it's beyond their scope of understanding. Let's take it for what it is and not give it so much depth. And understand that if a human is telling you, and a human is flawed, then the information may be flawed, right? That's just math. That's just plain math.
That is brilliant. That is so brilliant. I've been talking about that so much lately, about the childhood development that we go through, and our parents and our teachers and our friends and our family and all that other stuff. They're like, well, I was brought up this way. I was like, do you think for a second those people might have been a little bit screwed up themselves? Did you look at their parents and all that? We take it as truth. It's like, oh, I want to be like them. And it's like, well, they're screwed up too. I mean, you have to separate yourself from that. Sorry. I mean, you guys are brilliant. I want to capture Mike Phillips. Mike Phillips is here, and he says, and he talks about, what frequency do you vibrate at? The magic of frequency. Isn't that amazing? I never understood that stuff. Honestly, my tagline has always been, at least since 2013, that I help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. And up until about last year, a lot of the stuff we're talking about, I would have been like, yeah, right. Okay. All you got to do is just go forward and conquer. But there really is a lot to understanding the inner soul and the journey that we've been on, and the frequency. I would have been frequency. What the fuck frequency, Kenneth? What is that? REM?
Okay.
Change your frequency. But at the same time,
you can feel it.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
Thank you,
you
Mike,
can feel it. Like if you sit there and you've been really sad, let's say that you lost your puppy. Okay, and I'm gonna bring up a bad egg, but let's say that you lost your puppy and you're sitting there. You literally feel heavy. You feel your body heavy. You feel your forehead heavy. Your eyes get heavy. Your cheeks get heavy. Your skin, the feeling in your skin gets heavy. That is your energy lowering because you're in sorrow, and sorrow is a lower energy. But now let's say that you bought a scratch off and you scratched it off and you won a fucking car. And all of a sudden you feel this surge of like, oh my God, I want a car. And your excitement is like you're blowing the roof and you want everyone to feel how amazing you feel. And you're really excited. That's a much higher frequency. And you feel really light. You feel like you can float. Like that's obviously more on the extremes. But on a daily basis, you can do a check as to where you are. And you can do exercises. And they can be as silly or as serious as you want them to be. And what I mean by silly is you can literally just be like, ha, 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 until you crack yourself up and start laughing. Like you start fake, but you make yourself laugh and that lifts you up. Or it can be more serious, like you actually meditate on something that's more uplifting. Or you go outside and you just lay on the grass and you just think like, Earth, hold me. Like right now, I have nothing to lose. Just Earth, support me, hold me. The Earth is always there to hold us, guys. Our mother is always there to hold us. All you have to do is lay down a blanket if you feel weird about things crawling on you and just lay down. Lay down on the earth. Just feel it. It can be so healing to connect with the energy of the earth. And
Yep.
all of it is energy. I know that our senses don't let us perceive it that way because you see everything so materially. And I get that. And that's where those lower chakras and higher chakras kind of keep us either more materialized or more on the energy. I'm the kind of person where you can walk in through the door and you can be still 20 feet away from me and I feel juju and I will turn my shit around and I will walk the other way. I don't even want to walk by you. I don't know what it is about you, but I felt something shitty and I don't want it.
Or the other way around, or I'll tackle your ass.
Or the other way around. I want to walk in and I'll be. I was on a phone call the other day. There were like 50 people on the phone call. This one girl said something and I was like, you and I, we have to connect. We ended up going to the beach and getting in the water and going swimming and spending the day together. Her name is Doc Peace. Shout out to Doc Peace. Yeah, had the most amazing time. So it's just noticing your intuition, your sixth sense. All of it is energy. And we call it weird things. Intuition, sixth sense. What does it mean? It just means that there's something else, that's something in here that we haven't quite been able to scientifically put a name to, feel something that somebody else has. Just name it for what it is. Feel it for what it is. And don't sit in your bad energy. If you're feeling bad energy, call someone who you really like and tell them to tell you a joke. No shit. Like just get yourself out there, because it's also important for us to understand that we are not in this experience to do this alone. I am connected. You are connected. Scott is connected. Chris is connected. Robert, now we are connected. So there is something that is there to be said about how when you get in a tribe and you find a tribe that supports you, you can elevate your energy and elevate your understanding and your existence. So when you start vibrating at a higher level, you don't accept those lower energies in your life because you start to feel how they pull you down.
Yep.
Yes.
So then you start creating something called boundaries. And that comes also in that third chakra. And it's those boundaries. I know I miss you. And it's those boundaries that allow us to sit in our truth. And that comes all the way up to our throat chakra, which now starts to put us in the divine part of the chakras, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, right? So it's all connected, really. And if you don't understand, again, just start searching and do some searches about human vibration and what that means, so that you can just elevate and see what tools are available, because there's plenty in the internet. I learned all of this by myself.
Same.
One person led me to another person, led me to another person, and I just kept following the trail. My mentor, Patrick Carney, he's an artist. He led me to Les Brown, who led me to Bob Proctor, who led me to Napoleon Hill, who led me to Earl Nightingale, Charles Hannell, and then Alan Watts. And honestly, I'm still in that rabbit hole. I still haven't left the Alan Watts rabbit hole. That one's going to take like a year, I think.
That one's deep.
But yeah, it's all about understanding ourselves so that we know what we're working with.
I'd like to add something to Robert's comment, and I think it's an important one. So we were talking about, so great. So we understand now there's different vibrations, different frequencies that we can resonate on, and there's different ways to get there. Meditation is a massive start, because we got to get to that state of being where we can really just download from universe. But one thing I want you to think about that's very simple. You know, Robert mentioned scarcity mindset or a sense of lack. So many of us have grown up into that space where even if we overcome the sense of lack in our minds, you know, we get an education, we find a way to generate money. As we're getting that money, we still have those emotional attachments. You know, like our parents might have said something, and I'm sure this will resonate with some of you. If you don't finish your food, there's people starving all over the world. We barely have enough money for this. So, and you start listening to these things that create a sense of guilt, or we might have shame, or we might have sadness. So as we're creating that money, it's not making us feel good. So watch this, okay? This is how I want to reconcile that really quickly and make this simple. So those things are true. There are people that are suffering. There are people that are hurting. And you can dump all the money that you make into them and it's not going to fix it because they're still residing on a lower vibration. Watch this. So we're one being. We're God. We're collective consciousness. We spawn and we create different perspective points, AKA humans. If we're God and we're creating a place, are we creating a universe of lack? Just ask yourself that. You're God and you just created a universe. Did you create a universe of lack? Just say it. So either if you believe in a God, you think your God sucks so bad that he's creating, she's creating, it's creating, we are creating a universe of lack. It makes no effing sense. So here we are, we've created this universe. So where does the lack come from? Illusion, perception, everything we've been talking about. So we're going to throw that away starting right now. There's no such thing. So for you today to start making a ton of money, let's say you're not even in service to anybody else. You just make a ton of money because you want to enjoy existence. Cool. Nobody hates you for it. Now, if you choose as part of your player mode to say, I got 5 sandboxes, let's all play together. Cool. That's it. There's no, I feel horrible because they're starving or whatever. Feed somebody, help somebody. We've got Serena listening right now. She's doing all these beautiful things in Haiti to serve others. That's part of her play. She's doing that because it's fun. She's playing. She's not doing it to be the savior of the planet. She genuinely enjoys it. She's riding a bike 150 miles right now to make money to help other people because she's having fun. Look at her face. She's smiling. I don't see her on her videos going, this sucks. She's having a great time. That's the secret to the game. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. We had a couple of comments ago. Robert said something really important, but before I miss this, Scott, you nailed that, because the thing with scarcity mindset is I have no money and I'm worried about getting money. I get money and I'm worried about losing the money. Well, you didn't shift your mindset. You're still friggin' in the scarcity mindset, but you got what you thought you were going to get. Because the difference is, and I think Chris and I spoke about this last time, the difference is you don't want to just think about the money and the money and the money and the money. Whether I have the money, I don't have the money. It's that the money gives you the freedom. What do I have the freedom to do? What am I going to do with it? What can I expand with it? How can I invest it and make money for me so I can then have my time, which is what's truly important in this existence, and do something that actually fills my soul, right? Because the most important thing about creating financial freedom is not to be still worried about the money and still worried about it. It's that your time is now being able to be spent somewhere else. And that's now where assets working for us is the important part. So I made an investment, pays my bills, cuts me up even, but it pays all my bills, which means that I can be creative and I can do all these things in my brain and I can focus on how can I help people and how can I expand my creativity, because I don't depend on whether or not those things are making me money to be able to move forward, which means that when you can be more open. So listen to this. I had a guy the other day, random guy on Facebook, talk to me about the chakras, wanting to learn about the chakras. And I told him I have an online program, but if you're really interested, I would love to just spend some time with you. I was like, this is how much the program costs. If you want, at the end, pay me. Within like 5 minutes after we were done, the money was there. Because it's when you're not in the lack mindset, I'm in the mindset of this person is super interested in this enough that I want to teach them myself. They see that and then they match it. They match the energy. So that's the really important thing. And you know, it's sad because this is the realm of illusion. And in the realm of illusion, someone created what we take as reality or truth or daily living. And we have decided as a community to crazily follow this and say, yep, this is the way it is. And if somehow you're out of that, you are somehow wrong. And once we start to understand that whoever said that is still, again, is still a person, and they could have effed up, or these ideas may be too old, and because it's so hard to change them, no one's fixed them. In the end, the only thing that you have that you can make a difference with is you, yourself. So when you are worried about ending hunger, it's not about this huge world problem, because first of all, everything is perfect. You can only do something based on you, but everything is just the way it is, and it's just perfect because it's the way that creation wanted it to be. It's our view and our actions that make it not so perfect. So the only thing you can change is your view and your actions. You cannot change other people's views and other people's actions. Yes. So it's you. If you all you see is the ugliness, all you will continue to see is the ugliness. But if you can step back and think, well, even ugliness brings beauty into the mix, then that's a huge shift in perception, and it starts to open up the door to the fact that you can't have one without the other either way. And that is this realm. This is the realm of duality. So it's just part of this game, of this matrix that we are in.
So let's sit with that for a second, because, okay, and I want to sit here for a second and explain this, because I don't know where everybody's sitting vibrationally. But if you're in a vibration right now where you're seeing the duality as good and bad, if you're sitting in that space, when you think of darkness, or you think of negativity, or you think of pain, you just want to remove that from the world. Now, here's the thing. Really think about what Johanna just said, because you sit here and you say, but if we just got rid of pain, if we got rid of suffering, then we're in heaven. Okay, here's the secret. You were in your version of what heaven is. Like, we came from that. So if what you're saying of heaven is a world of love with zero contrast. So you were in that. We created existence that has to come with polarity. So I know it sounds crazy, but I want you to sit here, because this is one of those places where if we can, let's take ownership of this right now. And this would be something to meditate on. We were talking about meditating. Meditate on the idea of yin and yang, meditate on the idea of polarity. So how would I know that I love you so much if I haven't felt fear, I haven't felt pain, or if I haven't felt suffering? I wouldn't be able to feel that intensity. I wouldn't. I used to have this messed up thing as a kid. I don't know if I did it. Before I was like 4 years old, I had gotten stitches. I don't know if my mom's here. She comes once in a while. If she was here, she'll validate this. It was something like 20 times. Child Protective Services actually came to the hospital, came to us to see. They thought she was beating me. I remember being a kid. I would run through the house and like dive head first without my arms, knowing I'm going to slam my face into like a wall, because I'm literally like, I'm not going to die. And then I'm like bleeding. Like there's something like wrong with me. I wanted to feel it, because then when they fixed it, I'd be sitting there. I'm like, this feels so good because there's no stitches today. And my mom's like, what is wrong with you? And there's been something.
I stitches in my lip and I was a pussy. You're a stud.
No, I don't know if I'm a stud. I think the word is either psychotic or fully understood. I think I was just waiting. I wanted to feel like good contrast so bad. I wanted to be like, man, this feels good with no pain. I do it to this day. I go play basketball to get hurt. I say I don't want to get hurt. I got hurt today. You know what I do though? Then when I'm sitting here now, I'm like, I got a beer in my hand. You know what? My ankle hurts, but I don't give a shit because I feel good now. And you just, that contrast. We came for that. So really meditate on that. And what does meditation mean? Just sit back and just think of the fact that the universe has this dichotomy of, if we want to feel love, there's an equal opposite. And we can reside here, but this needs to be included to have this. It's literally that simple. Once you take ownership of that, and I know Johanna will agree, this alone will move you up a vibration, because that's a thought that holds us down in vibration. It will hold us to fear. It will hold us to lack. So take ownership of one of these things. Take one thing we've talked about and let that resonate. And I promise you'll move up or be on the upward spiral, the upward journey of moving up a vibration. And hopefully that makes sense, because these are These are places we can get stuck really easily.
Oh yeah,
really easily.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, and when you listen about non-duality, I mean, talk about getting stuck. When you truly listen to what the scholars say about non-duality, I mean, it's so amazing to really go deep into the fact that, like, even when you're hugging someone, nothing's actually touching, but at the same time, we are all space.
Mm-hmm.
So truly, like, what we mostly are is what we share, because we're over 99% space. So what makes you and what makes me is actually 99.9% the same stuff. And it's in that space where we find our greatness, but because we're stuck on the 0.1 that we can feel and that we can see and that we can manage, we completely miss the whole spectrum of who we are, the true spectrum of who we are.
And it's explained in our language. So we know that we're energy, that we're light. And we even have the terminology for money as currency. So it's a current. It's an energetic current that frees up time so that we can exist and connect together. We can do this word game. Word's one of the most, verbiage or language is such a beautiful technology that evolves and has been created. So when we really start to look at it closely, it starts to blow you away. And you're like, okay, so I'm literally just energy. There's a ton of contrast, and I want to match energy with things that make me feel good. And it's not rocket science. Back to Chris's point to start this thing, we've made this simplistic, beautiful consciousness very complex in this existence. And we should just start to back it in and make it a little bit more simple and just enjoy one another in this full state of abundance and curiosity. And I think it's that easy. It's not that easy. Once we can get past the fluff, there's ease at the end of it.
All right, let's take a breath, take a drink. I want to address some of these comments.
Please.
We have some amazing comments. Serena meet Johanna. Johanna meet Serena. You guys are fucking. You guys holy shit! You guys would like blow up the earth. You guys, we need to have both of you guys on here.
Bring it on right now.
Oh yeah, it would be crazy. So I mean, Serena just rode. I mean, you said 150 miles, 150 kilometers. She rode 93 miles. I did the math. She's already on here. She rode 93 miles on a bike that she didn't even test. I saw the video yesterday. She's like, oh yeah, here's my bike and I'm going to go do this and I'm raising money. And I mean, Serena, you are fucking awesome. I mean, I'm so blessed to be in the company of all you guys, but she says here, pain and suffering is a reality of life that everyone will face. It's learning how to be okay with the hurt, pain and suffering and use it as strength to get where you are meant to be. Yes, yes, yes. In the words of Serena. Absolutely. She goes on to say, we learned so much from getting through the teaming, building our character. Yes. Through the pain and adversity, that equals growth. It's like you go to the gym and you work out. Why do you work out? Yes, your muscles hurt. You work out because you want your muscles to hurt because they're going to grow. The same thing goes for life. And even Marlene says, you can win $1 million, but that will not buy you freedom. Your habits will give you freedom. Shape them with your dreams in mind and expect the changes. Yes, you invest in the outcomes that you're seeking to see. Let's see what Robert says. Robert says, after a car accident, they had sewed up my head and were sewing my mouth back together. I woke up as the thread was being pulled up and I screamed. The surgeon's eyes got so big and then they put me back under.
That's crazy.
Wow. Like I said, I had 3 stitches in my lip right here because I ran into a girl in the 5th grade and like I ran into her head and I just started busting in, bleeding. And Mike says, thank you for being here, Mike. Also, thank you for being here. All you guys, thank you for being here. If you want to see a life without barriers, have a conversation with a 4-year-old and ask what they want to do to be happy. Yes, yes, yes. They will tell you what it takes. We learn fear and limits later in life. Absolutely, based on the judgment of people that are like living in a scarcity mindset. One more thing. I gotta acknowledge Patricia. Sorry. Patricia, love you. Thank you for being here. Patricia was on our show last Friday night, right? It was last Friday night. I was with Pamela, right? Yep. I lose track of time. We had an amazing show last week. Love the discussion this evening. I've been smiling off and on. Beautiful guests heading off to meditate about Scott's flying into the window. and then Serena's back with we all fall, we all make mistakes, but how we pick ourselves up is what separates us from the rest. We can do anything. Yes. I mean, thank you guys so much. Yeah, but that was 93 miles. You rode 93 miles. Shut up. That is I could ride 50 miles.
She did more. She did 175. She did an extra 25. So she did over 100 miles.
Well, that's kilometers. KMS is kilometers.
I know, but I'm saying she did 175 instead of 150. So she did over 100 miles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
at 25. She's showing us. She's making a statement.
Oh, one more thing. Patricia says, yes.
Oh
You
my
guys-
God.
I would watch that show. I didn't want to be a part of that show. I just want to watch you guys talk.
I want to go to a bar. I want to just have a few drinks with you guys. They're going to end up being on the dance floor going crazy. You and I are going to drink whiskey. Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm really looking forward to meeting you, Serena.
No, I mean, and again, going back to the discussion of what we're having here is everything happens for you. Everything. I would not be sitting here today if I had the same mindset that I had a year ago. And I was talking with somebody earlier, Teresa, amazing individual. I hope you're still on here. Teresa is an amazing individual. I had an opportunity to talk to earlier this week and to connect with. And I said, just imagine based on the conversations we've had this week, just imagine how much different your life is going to be a year from now. And I remember 1 year ago from now, I was working with my coach and we were working on a bunch of stuff and I was still in my corporate job. And it's amazing when you let go and you trust, again, I keep going back to it. You trust that everything is happening for you. Like when I left my corporate position in November, that was freaky. That was scary. We talked about identity a little bit more. We could dive into that too. I mean, we've already been going for an hour and 11 minutes. I figure we'll go for another 3 hours. That was huge for me to break from that identity of what I was for so long. I was the corporate guy. I got my master's degree. I'm going to be a business guy. I'm going to go travel the world. I'm going to do these things. Plus I'm doing this coaching and speaking and everything. It's amazing. I would not be in the company of you guys right here and right now had I not let go of so many scarcity mindsets and the survivor mindset and just said, hey, like Steve Harvey said, I posted the video again today, like just jump, just experience and live life. So many people are existing, right? They're existing. They're playing the someday game. Someday when this happens and someday when this happens, or they're playing the hope, wish, and pray game. I hope this, I hear so many people saying, I'm like, what are you physically doing to make that happen? I hope this, I wish this, what are you physically doing to make this happen? I mean, talk to us about that a little bit, guys. I mean, the fact that there has to be tenacity, there has to be grit. You have to freaking go. I said freaking. That's weird. I would talk to robbery sometimes. She says fucking. But yeah, I mean, that's where the grit is. You have to get in there and get dirty and get sweaty and get hurt and bleed and cry and frustrated because Serena's in the same situation. I mean, she's saving lives in Haiti. She's saving lives in a country way far away from us. What do you guys think about that? Is the fact that so many people want to avoid pain. I put it on my Facebook today. I'm like, what I can't remember exactly how I phrased it, but what's your perception of pain? Is it good or bad? And of course, most people were saying, yeah, it's good. It's a learning opportunity to grow and to expand. But what are your thoughts on that to help people who are watching this right now, who are focusing on the pain, they're focusing on everything that's going wrong in the world? How do we switch that mindset to say, yes, there are things in the world that we need to address and we have to be active about and we have to be passionate about, but at the same time, not getting so emotionally involved in it that sucks the life out of us? What do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, we have to remember, again, always come back to the fact that we're here to have a soul experience and soul growth. Getting too stuck in the material world and in the problems of the world is not serving our soul in any way. Can you be passionate about something? Of course. And you can definitely live your life. I mean, I've lived my life helping others and I am very passionate about it. And it's what fills my cup, being able to enlighten others to their reality. But let's be honest, change is hard. Staying where you are is comfortable. And when we start to lift our vibration, things change. I can promise you, when Chris decided that the woo-woo shit was actually real and he wanted to bring it back in, some of the people that he was having these conversations with are no longer having conversations with him anymore. And that's a change. And that change can be tough, right? Like if all you know is you're surrounded by certain people who all have a certain mindset and who all are fucking up in the same ways, to get out of that circle, out of that mindset and into something else takes a lot, because it takes you dropping your circle. It takes you moving on from the things that made you comfortable and that kept you in that space. So it's again, reflection is the biggest thing. Like Scott said, you need to really meditate and look at the situation and sit back for a second and give yourself that space and understand that if you feel like something just keeps coming up over and over again, you gotta look at that. You can't just keep putting it aside. You gotta look at it. That's life being like, hey, wake up. Hey, wake up. Hey, wake up. And you being like, I'll take another. I'll take another. Please. Can it be harder this time? 2 at the same time? Sure. Take it. Bring it on. Instead of being like, oh, wait, you're getting too close. Let me look at you. Let me see what you're bringing at me. Because that's the thing. Once you start becoming aware and taking yourself out of victim mode, all of a sudden these things start to come in slow motion and you're like, oh, I avoided that one, and oh, I'm gonna blow that one away. But the only way hashtag the woo shit. I love it. No, you know what?
Mike.
I'm all about the woo the shit. I mean, my tagline is I'm an MBA by education and I'm an MBA in life because I manifest by believe in action. So I mean, I am woo all the way. And you know what? It's not easy, especially in the corporate world, to change this vision and become innovative in this way. But when you open yourself to people being able to be at a higher energy and being more honest and having more contributions, you create such a different feel and a different kind of scenario that the most important thing is look at what's not working. What can I do to change? And then know that no matter how painful it is to go through that hump, once you get to the other side, the people like this that you will attract that are actually in your tribe and speaking your language. At first, by the way, guys, people may think that you're completely insane too. Because when you start being like, I'm in this energetic world, and yeah, some people are going to be like, oh, okay, she may be, but you just need to stand in your own shit and just own everything that you're going through and own the fact that they are not in your head. Them holding you down because they see you elevating yourself and they wish they had that for yourself, for themselves. And that's why they hold you down. We're like crabs in a bucket. Instead of lifting each other and creating a ladder and all of us just taking each other up and then pulling the last one out, we're just pulling each other down. Mm-hmm. When we start to realize that the goal is to lift myself up, and by doing so, that's how I raise the vibration around me. It's not let me focus at this external problem and attempt to fix it. You can still fix the problem and still have a hell in your own body to live with and in your own mind to live with. So it's about reversing it. I look inside first. I figure out what's missing in here that's making me want to keep looking out here at things to fix. And once you can fix in here, then you can have your time and your effort to see how what you have to bring to the world can kind of serve in a larger scale.
There's one thing I want to talk about, Johanna, that you just said, that when you were saying about like the fact that I've grown and I've changed, that it's hard for me to let other things go. You know what? It's interesting. It's not. And that's actually surprising to me because, you know, hanging out with the Go Love Now guy, you know, I gotta think about sending love, and I gotta think about all this love shit where I was just like, I'm just gonna punch a motherfucker in the face if they're gonna get out of the way. That's how I was. I was like, just get out of my way. I'm unstoppable. And that's why I came up with that hashtag. I mean, I'm truly unstoppable. But at the same time, I look at life, and I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but this is the way I have to, I'm a very visual person, and I try to compartmentalize everything that's going on. So I could, like you're saying, Scott, you take what we're saying and you do it so beautifully. By the way, I just want to compliment you on that. You take what we're saying and you restate it in such a way that people can really understand it. Cause I don't know if I understand myself sometimes, but at the same time with that love and cause I used to be all angry and vengeful. I mean, I used to say success is the best revenge. Now I say success is the best karma. And I've really changed my ways, but at the same time, everything is a chapter in our lives. And when you realize that there's a chapter that is closing, you can look at that chapter and go, oh my God, I want to hang on to that. And I'll give you an example. I'm a child of the 80s. We were playing Motley Crue when we first came in. I love Motley Crue. I love the 80s. The 80s was one of the best decades for me. When I went from being homeless and kind of finding my groove with music and with people and finding my people, it was amazing. It was so cool. But at the same time, if I was going to continue to grow, I had to leave those people. And I remember when I was 17 years old, 7th grade dropout, right? I dropped out in the 7th grade. I did not go to high school, and I'm hanging out with my buddies, and I'm dating this girl, and her dad says, "Hey, Chris, you should go back to school." And I'm like, I'm 18 years old. I smoke cigarettes. I mean, I'm done with that shit. I'm way older than any high school kid. I would annihilate them. And he said, you can go back and get your GED, and you can go to college, and you can make something yourself. He said to me, Christopher, you're only limited by the parameters of your own mind. And their family, actually, after he passed away, gave me the authorization to say that quote as me now. Because I used to say, you're only limited by the parameters of your own mind, Bill White. And their family, who I'm still great friends with, it was my first wife, they said, no, we want you to put your name on it. Bill would want you to put your name on that, so put your name on that. But at the same time, I had to go back to my friends, and I was excited. I'm like, I have a chance to kind of break free from all of this stuff that I've been through in my entire life. And all my friends, all my homies, all my brothers were like, what are you doing that for, dude? That's stupid. You're gonna go back to school. What, are you gonna be a fucking nerd? Da, 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 da. And I was like, and I got to that fork in the road, the little fork in the road. And I was like, okay, do I want to be popular? Do I want to be known? Or do I want to actually break the cycle of everything that my family's been through and actually go for this? And I thought I was stupid. My mom told me I was stupid for so many years of my life. I was bullied. I didn't do well in school. And here I had this guy that barely knew me. And he's like, Christopher, go to school. Christopher, go to college. I'm like, college? That's embarrassing. I would be embarrassed. But I loved his daughter. I was like, all right, if I want to keep hanging on to this really good piece of my life after everything that I had been through, I have to change. So I had to wish my friends well. And they all told me to fuck off. And, but they were coming from a lack mindset.
Yeah.
Every step through my life, up until even last November, I had a lot of friends and a lot of brothers and everything. And I still consider those people friends and brothers. But at the same time, I have moved so far past everything that happened 9 months ago that I'm such a different person. I don't even necessarily, I say this honestly, I almost don't even want to hang around those people anymore because they're going to see me how I was, the partier and everything. And I'm like, I'm such a different person. I keep continuing to evolve. Like I said, the self-help fluffy bullshit. Now I love that. Now I'm seeing how that connectedness comes back to the vibration and to source, and the fact that we are souls here having an experience to continue to grow and learn so that we can be ultimately, helping other people or whatever it might be. But that, I just wanted to say that to you, Johanna, because I know people are watching. They're like, that's difficult. But I used to want to like recapture the 80s. I used to want to have, last year, was it 2017? Was the 30th anniversary of 1987. And I was like, I want to get all my old friends back together. I want to have a big party, not have a table of Coke or anything, but just like have a big party. Like, hey, where are you at? And, just kind of just have fun. It was crazy. After my son was born and everything else, I was like, that was then, this is now.
When you said that, me and Johanna, for some reason, just started laughing. I think we just visualized some party. We were like, we were still listening to you, but we were like,
oh, I've had those parties. I've had those parties where it looked like a volcano in the middle of the room, and everybody came and did paintball. I did all that.
When you said it, everybody's brain went to a certain party, and we stopped listening to you. So where were we?
No, I mean, I'm just talking about that. It's not hard. It's not hard to let people go. I just had a conversation with a buddy of mine that I've known for, Jesus Christ, 30 years now. And he's still the same dude. He's not going to watch this, so I'm not going to say his name, but he's still the same dude. I haven't talked to him in 4 years. We were great buddies. If he called me tomorrow and said, hey, Chris, I need you, I would be there in a second. But I'm like, dude, you're doing the same fucking thing you were doing 4 years ago. What are you doing? Working? Are you having any fun? No, any time. How are your kids? Oh, they're okay. I'm like, dude, I have been through so much stuff in the last 4 years. I'm so excited for the next 4 years. I'm so excited to see where I'm going to be when I'm 60. So you can have that perspective of excitement to move forward. And it's not about leaving something behind, because if any one of my friends or my brothers, from even my friend Chris that we used to hang out with, if he called me tomorrow and said, dude, I need you, I'd be there in a New York second. Same. So that's
I think it's back to that lack of the mindset, the lack mindset, because if you're scared of letting something go, then you're seeing the door start to close in that chapter, and you're literally like, no, and you're standing in the door and you're pushing the door, and that door's automatic, man. It's going to close whether you want to or not.
And the other thing, if you were at the top of the rung in any of these chapters too, like the star athlete in high school who decided not to study. I mean, I come from a working class, suburb of Boston, and I can tell you flat out, like, the coolest kid in high school that every girl is like, this kid's so cool. They all they still work in that town, and it's like a sad Bruce Springsteen song. It's just, it really is, and I'll go back home, and if they're listening to this, they wouldn't listen to my stuff. They wouldn't care to listen to it, but it's sad, because these are kids that I was like, I remember, I'm like, dude, you're a smart kid. Just do the work, do your homework, just do this. Like, And I didn't care. Like, they're not going to make fun of me for doing it. They go, oh, you're wasting your time. I don't care what they say. I never cared what other people said. But I was like, all you got to do is just a little bit. You're a good athlete. You can go to college. You would be free. You could do this. And they're like, oh, that doesn't matter, dude. I'm this guy. I'll be this guy forever. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. The door is going to close. You could see this coming at 18. And some people, they couldn't see it. So.
Yeah, well, and the thing when we get stuck in those points in our lives is that we literally get stale. Like, our energy gets stale, because you have nothing to look forward to. Every day you live is the same. It's almost like a cassette on repeat. I know I said cassette. I don't think that most
Groundhog Day.
I totally, it
people
sounded
know what
normal
to
to me. I was actually taking a pencil and twisting it and fixing it as you said that. It was weird. I was like, damn it, my cassette is broken.
So yeah, when you're open to change, then again, when you're open to playing the game and you realize that all of these doors closing, it just means that you're about to start a new adventure and that something new is about to happen. And whether it's great or it's bad or it's a lesson or it's a success, like it's all a part of the game. And nothing can happen without the other. So like Chris, letting go of those things and opening yourself up to these new things means that now your mindset is so different when you're approaching life that for me, it's almost like I can't relate to some of the people I used to be around with because I've changed so much and my mindset has changed so much that I have some conversations and I'm like, no, I'm just not, I don't relate to that anymore. So it's important. The cool thing is, again, because when we raise our vibration, we start to attract that vibration, is that once you step into it and you say, no, you know what, I'm over this. Like, I need to step up in my life. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, the universe is like, boom, you're ready. I'm going to hand you what you need to make it happen. Here's a new friend. Here's a new mentor. Here's something that you need to listen to. And if you're open to the universe, and now we'll get more into the woo-woo shit. When I was listening to Napoleon Hill, I felt this connection to him. And I was like, this guy and I are on a thread. Like, I understand where he's coming from. I understand. And the fact that he was speaking about issues that I'm very passionate about 100 years ago or 80 years ago made me even more feel like I was connected. And at one point, it became so crazy that I would be listening to a video and then out of nowhere, I'd have a question. And the video would start doing one of these. And then I would look down and another video on YouTube would say Napoleon Hill 11111. And I would click on that video and it would literally expand on what I was thinking about. And I know that can sound super crazy to someone that hasn't had that experience. But literally, when you are that connected and you're that open to what universe is attempting to teach you, it will break through walls to show you what you need. It doesn't keep it a secret.
No.
It shows you. You want to play? Woohoo! Let's do this.
That's it right there. The universe says that daily. Say that again. The universe says, "Do you with me?"
Yeah.
Most of us hide. Start playing with the universe. It's begging to play. Begging. That's it. It literally is. And that's
shit.
But that's the fun thing. You know, we got the giggle when Chris said, oh, the pile of cocaine and some party in the 80s. And, you kind of giggle about that. Think of this, all right? We've got a bunch of ways to view existence. We can look at, the width of existence. So like, how much money do I have? We can look at the length. How much money can I spend over a lifetime? We can look at how far up I can go, how high I can go. What we're starting to do now and what this show is about is the depth, the roots that we're creating in our existence. How far in can we go? And we can expand in any of these directions. So, the escapist drugs or, like doing a bunch of cocaine or a bunch of ecstasy or drinking at all hours till 5 a.m. and partying. Could that be fun? Sure. I mean, anything can be fun, but that's going this way. And there's going to be what happens. When I go like this, what happens is a massive come down.
Gosh.
When you create depth and you dive deep into what you are, there's no negativity. There's no bounce back. So as she's saying, as Johanna's saying, you're going to start to like find things. You're going to be introduced to the universe. The woo shit starts to become very real. And every time you pick up your phone, it's 1111 or 222 or 333. And the song that plays says something about what you were just thinking, or the Napoleon Hill is the next. It doesn't happen once in a while. I mean, it gets to a point where you open your door and there's
crazy.
You're like, you know what I wish? And some guy shows up and delivers it. It's so ridiculous.
It is, dude. I would have never believed that shit in a fucking million years, but it is true.
It's that ridiculous to a point where, like, you know what we should do? We should do a thing right now. I should buy something that costs $20,000 and have no money for it. And I will just say within 30 days it will happen because I picked 30 days. And I'm one of these idiots who believes it's always going to work. And I'm saying that in jest. I don't really think I'm an idiot. But like I used to joke my friends, I'm dumb enough to believe. I'm dumb enough to believe. And I'd sell it because then they thought it was fun to join me. It was kind of like the verbiage. I feel like it'll just pay for itself. So let's just go buy something for 20 grand. You guys got any ideas? What are we going to buy? But I really do believe the money would show up. I mean, we can't do something like $1 billion. I don't know how to produce that yet. I haven't got my belief system that big, but I'm sure we can figure out something for, a reasonable chunk of money.
A motorhome.
A motorhome to drive
1978 Tioga motorhome.
Shows.
Yeah, instead of 20,
Tioga
do 40 and do one of those Mercedes Sprinters that you can build up. You know, some of those things have dishwashers in them.
Really? What do you need a dishwasher for? That's what we have Scott for. Scott will be our dishwasher.
Those things are pimped out.
Mind that. I'll do a dish here and there. All we can do is disposable.
Did you just say Pinto?
No, I said those things are pimped out.
Oh, I thought said Pinto. I was like, wow,
Some
you're
of
really
them have
old school.
They have these things outside that roll down, and you can use like a widescreen. I mean, those things are so amazing.
I would so do that in a New York second right now. I would so do that in a New York second right now.
It's gonna happen. And so Thomas Neese was on here earlier. We've talked about doing that too. He would be he would be our videographer. He would love that. Love that.
Let's capture a few more comments and then we'll wrap up because I want to respect everybody's time. Robert says, and thank you again for being here, Robert. I didn't always have the money to have the cool stuff I said others with growing up, but when I did, I went back and I bought the stuff which came in handy after wife removal. Wife excavation, as I needed to sell most of it just to make sure I stay connected and eating and taken care of, or not once internet cell was covered. Yeah. You just figure that out. And Julie says, and the most important thing you said, we have to be open. Yes. Open, ladies and gentlemen, open. You have to be open.
Awareness and then openness.
I mean, seriously, so many people are closed to the possibility. You know, the one of my favorite words is the power of perhaps. Like, perhaps it gives it a possibility. You have to have possibility. I'm trying so hard to let go of my past. Don't try so hard, Julie. Just
do it.
Respect it, embrace it, appreciate it, and send it off with love.
Yeah.
And I never thought I would say that shit, but seriously, it works. It really does. I mean, I could easily go down so many rabbit holes with my identity and everything about the past and try, but it's like, this is who I am now. And
find out what's making you hold on to it. So there's always something that's holding you back. Maybe a lesson you haven't learned, something you haven't reflected on, something you haven't forgiven somebody else or yourself for. Follow the thread of what it is that keeps pulling you back and triggering that thought or that mindset of staying in the past, and deal with it and think about it and reflect on it. Because the big thing, it's not letting go doesn't mean mic drop, forget about it and put it aside, because then all you're doing is putting it in a bag, carrying that bag with you with all those rocks in the back, and at some point it gets so heavy that you explode. So the most important thing is to follow the thread, and the thread is always, what is it that either triggers me, reminds me, or pulls me back to that moment? And a lot of times it has to do with forgiveness, with not being able to forgive yourself, not being able to forgive your mistake or the situation, or being a victim of part of the story, thinking, oh, but if this person would have done that, or if, those what ifs are huge to hold us back and keep up in that mindset of having conversations and seeing different scenarios. It's important to understand that those what ifs don't exist. They're only there in your brain. They didn't happen and they won't happen. So replaying them isn't helpful. So it's about, how can I envision something moving forward? You know that you're on the right track when you're envisioning something that's not happening. If you're envisioning something that you're already happened and you're just seeing that, you're stuck. That's an easy way to know if you're stuck or unstuck. Either you're visualizing what can happen or you're stuck in what's happened before. Yes. So follow the trail and then see what you can learn from it so you can cut that thread and then let it go. And again, letting go, like Chris said, is not just dumping it. It's accepting it. It's thanking it. Thank you. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the pain. I love the pain. The pain led to something big. And it sometimes just saying that out loud means that you might cry. Let it the fuck out. Do not hold those tears back. Let them out. Cry. Do it.
Yes, yes.
The other day, someone worked on my shoulder and I cried, and it felt the best it's felt in 2 years. And I think some of it was just all the
Emotional
anger and all
pain.
the anguish and all the emotional shit that I have attached to this thing. Like, I was going to be on American Ninja Warrior and I couldn't even lift 5 pounds after that. So it changed what I saw of myself. It changed my whole vision of me. Oh, but that helped me let go to the fact that who created that vision anyways? And what does that vision mean? And why isn't this new vision better? Right? But it's going through that. That's the learning. That's the healing. That's the process of life.
So beautifully said. So beautifully said. You guys are, I mean, we're like an hour and 35 minutes and I feel like we just got started. I feel like we just got started. Man, we have had so many different amazing comments and
thanks
just
to everyone for their comments. So
seriously,
awesome.
Let's see what Robert says here. I can't even read it unless I put it on the big screen because of my reading glasses. Someone that continues to have my respect once said that if you can learn to give away your most prized possession, it would change your life overnight. At first, I thought that item had been stolen. A few months later, it was found, and then it could be given away, and life did change overnight.
That's Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer talks a lot about that.
Oh, love Wayne. Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time. And then Julie says, yep, stuck. Gonna cut that thread. He's an asshole. LOL. Snip, snip, snip. And you just have to cut that thread and say thank you. I was just talking with a coaching client the other day. I said, you have to say thank you for being a part of my journey. So often we look at the shitty situations of our life, and I've been through a lot. And I look back at them every single moment now, and I'm thankful for every shitty moment, every dark moment, every low moment, because in those moments, I had a question to ask myself. Is this going to define me or is this going to help me? Right? Is this going to be leverage? Am I going to use this as, fuel to continue to get better? Like, for example, I had back surgery in January 2019. I had fused like L3 to L5. Huge scar. I mean, 6 screws, 2 or 3 rods in my back. And they're like saying, okay, you need surgery again. You need surgery again. Oh, where's the puppy? Where's the puppy? Hey, this is like the open show. Don't worry about the puppy. I mean, puppies bark.
We all got puppies. I got puppies.
Yeah, big deal.
It's past his time to go out, so he's mad at me.
We have the same thing. We have I can hear in the other room, like they're.
I'm gonna end it in just like 2 hours. I'm just gonna keep going for 2 more hours. I'm ordering another drink. No, but I mean, it's serious. I mean, you just have to look at those situations as a blessing. Everything that has happened to me in my entire life, every negative, shitty fucking experience, even when I tried to kill myself twice, unfortunately, I sucked at it.
Fortunately.
Yes. No, I really didn't want to die. I was just trying to like raise awareness, like, hey, by the way, mom, pay attention.
But you said it backwards. You said unfortunately. She was clarifying you were glad you're here.
Yeah, fortunately. So yeah. Yeah, because anyways. That's another discussion. But every situation in my life has been, it's like people want the accelerated path to happiness, right? And let's kind of end on this a little bit. Everybody's looking for the quick pill, the quick program. What can I do? Everything is literally like, if you look at our background, and we chose this background for a reason, bricks. You build a brick, 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 you build a brick. And it's not overnight, ladies and gentlemen. If it took you 30 years to get here, it might take you just a few years, not 30 years. It's going to take you a few years maybe to kind of build that brick back up, because you've been breaking your wall down your whole entire life with your perceptions and your beliefs and your attitudes and your perspectives and your expectations. When you adjust those, like we've been talking about tonight, you start building it back up. And we're not saying build a wall. We're saying build yourself back up. Build yourself back up. What can you guys say to send everybody off? Scott, I'll start with you. Or actually, I'll start with you, Johanna. What can we say to the viewers tonight? Because I know we could sit here and talk forever. We obviously are. What can you guys say to people who are struggling right now? We've got social injustice. We got so many things going on in the world. We got the political stuff. We have so much uncertainty. We have COVID. We have all sorts of different perspectives. We have people flooding our Facebook posts with, oh, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this might be, and this might be. And by the way, just ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to do a quick insert right now. Check us out next Friday Night Live, talking about an engaging conversation. Holy shit. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We're going to give you more information, but next Friday night, it's going to be a dynamic conversation. But Johanna, what would you say right now for those people we've been talking about being stuck. We've been talking about breaking down our belief systems and breaking down what our perceptions are and everything else that we look at our past, right? We're always looking in the rearview mirror of like, how does that define me? What does that make me? As opposed to looking forward, or just like I say all the time, just being in the moment. I mean, guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. This moment, these moments for the last an hour and 40 fucking minutes, it feels like a minute. It feels like it's been a minute. These moments have been amazing for me. But so what can you offer the viewers and everybody that's watching this to help them identify maybe gaps in their own belief systems that can help them grow versus retract?
Awareness is the biggest thing. Just become aware of what you're telling yourself. What conversations are you having? Are you consistently putting yourself down? And also, if you feel like your emotions and the way that you're thinking is consistently driven by the things that you're looking at and the things that you're reading, stop. Just stop. Just friggin' stop. Start looking at things that fill your cup, things that teach you. Remember, all you have control of is what you have control of. So you don't have control over COVID. You don't have control over world hunger. You don't have control over COVID. All you have control is over your actions, your reactions, and what you are creating for yourself. So you can't solve all these world problems. So sitting there being emotionally like blah, all the time because of them just isn't healthy for you, and it's not contributing to this. Because guess what? For whatever this is happening, you have two choices. You're either going to let it bring you down to fear and let it lower your vibration. We've been talking a lot about vibration today, so I'll bring it back to that, and I'll close with that. You can either let the fear, let the uncertainty, and let the insecurities bring you down to your root chakra and make you feel like everything is in control but you. Or you can say, well, this shit show's happening. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's affecting everyone. So I'm just going to do me. And I'm going to get healthy, and I'm going to eat the best that I can, and I'm going to move as much as I can, and I'm going to teach my kids as much as I can. And maybe you learn how to grow food, which may be beneficial in the next few years. Just throwing that out there. That's a personal thing that I have in my head, but you know.
I'm with you.
So yeah, maybe you start working on, again, the one thing you can control. And again, you have people like us, like Chris, like Scott, like myself. People, we don't know everything. Hell no. I do not pretend to know everything. I do not have all the answers. No. But I know that I've been a shitty person. I've been an amazing person. And I've learned, and I've broken things down, and I've gone back down, and I've built myself back up. So all of that has been able to give me perspective of, oh, that's just life. And the inside of me that's watching the shit show going on, that doesn't change and isn't affected by any of this external stuff. So taking control of ourselves and yeah, just being aware, just be nice to yourself. If you're going to start loving anyone, today is the day to start loving you more than anyone. Yeah. Lots of kisses, lots of hugs, pats on the backs.
Seriously. Hugs and all that.
Oh, hey, by the way, Johanna, what is that number that's like next to your name?
Oh, it's my phone number. Call me if you want to keep talking. I can talk forever. I like, as I mentioned before, I run my business totally weird. I don't do what anybody else does. Like, I call you, I talk to you, and if you want to work with me, I ask you, what can you pay me? And we work together. Like, that's just because that's just where I am in life right now. And that's just my vibe and my juju right now. So because the universe is providing, I'm just helping other people in here. I'm providing for in here, for your heart chakra, bringing you back to love, man, to being in control and to getting the hell out of fear. And especially if you have ideas of like businesses and things you want to start. I have a foolproof plan to help you start a new business. I will check new business. So it just, yeah, hit me up. It'd be great to talk.
Yes. And like Cindy just said, she goes, hope you can come back on. I'm envisioning, Scott, I'm just going to put this out there, buddy. I'm envisioning Johanna and Serena. Potentially, I mean, we could do that show, and then we could also do a show in addition with Patricia and Pam, and it probably might be like a Jerry Lewis
daytime, so that if her nighttime,
like she's maybe 9 hours ahead.
We'll make it happen.
Sure. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah, even if because it'll be 8 hour difference, but we'll make it happen, even if it's earlier during the day. I do have Facebook. Just search my name, Johanna Godinez. Instagram. I'm back to Life and Style Coaches. I jump around and switch it all the time, but
And actually, everybody, if we're not friends on Facebook too, because I see some new names, definitely friend me on Facebook. These are wonderful comments, and we're, again, we're all sharing positivity. We're not ruining the planet, so everything that we're vibing is going to be good stuff.
Oh yeah, and I love what Mike said. I want to just encapsulate. Have really enjoyed this conversation. Got good juju. Thank you so much, Mike. I mean, honestly, thank you everybody. Thank you, Johanna. You are such a beautiful person, such a beautiful spirit. And I don't say that honestly, I don't say that cosmetically. You are a beautiful person, a beautiful spirit. You're beautiful outside, but at the same time, it's just so cool. If you'd have told me a year ago I'd be having this conversation, I'd be like, yeah, right. But it's so beautiful, just a free fall. Like I mean, just for transparency, for all you guys still watching, I threw it out. I'm like, what do we want to talk about? Let's just drop into something. And I literally had no expectation of what this conversation. I had a couple of ideas where I was going to go. Like, I actually thought I was going to go in a couple of different directions. But the conversation tonight for an hour and 45 minutes, which I'm going to probably get in trouble for when I go downstairs, but it's no big deal because I love this.
Me too.
This has been an amazing dynamic connection. And I never understood connection. I never wanted to connect. I always wanted to be, I am my own self. I will figure it out. I am, I don't want to depend on anybody else, but there's so much magnificence and beauty in connecting and realizing that we're all more the same than we are different. So thank you so much, Johanna.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best in Ireland. I wish you all the best with your husband. I wish you all the best in the 14-day quarantine. I wish you all the best because I know that means so much other things for you and making it to Puerto Rico. And I cannot wait. We cannot wait.
And someone asked me if I speak Spanish. I do. So if you need me to talk to you in Spanish, I can do that too.
What, Scott?
I've been getting messages already. So someone sent me a message that's listening, asking if I speak Spanish. So yes, I speak Spanish.
Yes. Perfecto. And Robert says, when you show up comfortable within your own skin, this is a great place to connect them. It is so important. So thank you, Johanna. Scott, final thoughts.
Let's go to simple. Let's resonate with what we started with. You said, this world's a simple place. Simple place. We're all perspective points of God, creator. So if we are perfect, let's start acting perfect and tear down that identity that's been built falsely. We've got all the opportunity to be anything we want to be. Start with curiosity, remove the fear, make all your decisions based on love, and good things will happen, I promise. To what Johanna just said, I want to end on one important thing. She started talking about forgiveness a little bit. And if you look at our coaching platform, the love and the fear model literally says forgive is the first thing we do. And then we eliminate needs, beliefs, and programs that no longer serve us, accept ourselves and others where we're at in the journey, and rise up and be resilient. Those are the ways that we separate from those things that aren't allowing our spaceship or our airplane to take off. And once we see more clearly with the love model and disconnect with the fear model, there's nothing that will hold you back. You become that curious child again. So let's all go become curious children. Let's get on it. Let's go enjoy ourselves. Let's get some dogs walked. Let's make sure those dogs are happy, because I got them too. Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Hang on one second. All right. So, ladies and germs, an hour and 48 minutes and 32 seconds of pure excitement, embrace, vulnerability, passion, commitment, tenacity, unstoppableness. It's up to you. It's up to you. I'm looking at you, and I want you to go look in the mirror after this episode. I want you to go look in the mirror, and I want you to ask yourself, are the things I'm doing, are they moving me closer to or further from my stated experience, my stated legacy that I want to have in this life? Just ask yourself, just go look in the mirror, look in your eyes and say, are the things that I am doing, the actions that I am taking, are they moving me closer to or further from the legacy that I want to leave? We talked a little bit about tonight, regrets, one of my favorite leverage points. I am scared to death of getting to be 80 years old and looking back on my life. I just heard it today. I will share this with you. I just heard it today on an interview, and they were saying, the guy was talking about his dad has cancer and his dad is older. And he told his son, the guy that was on the podcast, he told his son, he goes, I don't regret much. He goes, but I regret the fact that I did not take significant risks for some of the things that I wanted to go after in my life. Think about that. He's got cancer. He's at the end of his journey, and he's telling his son, I regret the risks that I did not take during my life. His life is about to be over. That's heavy. And I want you to feel that, because we're here for this amount of time. I mean, literally, I just saw a documentary the other day that made me feel like I'm here for like a second. And they said in the documentary, everything that we hold on to, all the stuff that we think is important, is absolute crap. Absolute crap. You're worried about what your family thinks. You're worried about what your friends think. You're worried about what your coworkers think. Your coworkers, you're worried about what they think about your future and you being you. How fucking ridiculous is that? Ask yourself, am I going to be happy when I'm 80 years old saying, man, I'm glad I played it safe so I didn't piss off Nancy in accounting? Or are you going to say, man, I am so glad that I quit my job and I started a new business? Or like we've been saying, I am so glad that I had this good job that was safe and comfortable and good and predictable. And I started a side hustle. Start a side hustle, right? Sell tamales, become a fucking coach, whatever you want to do, just go do it. Because we're here to live, not to exist. Let me repeat that. We're here to live, not exist. And ask yourself, when you go to that accountability mirror, am I living or am I existing? Am I living? Am I excited? Do I feel like there's some great things coming around, or am I existing? Oh yeah, I get to go to the job tomorrow. My husband's going to want this. What am I going to make for dinner tomorrow? Oh yeah, in 10 years, we'll do this. That's existing. That's a waste of your precious time here. We are souls having an experience here as humans to think and feel and to absorb and to commit. So what are you doing? What are you doing? That's what this show is about, right? And so much massive appreciation. We have had so much engagement tonight, so many comments, so many questions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Johanna. Thank you so much to Scott. I love you guys. We really do. We really appreciate you guys, every single one of you, for making the time to be here, to contribute, to interact with us. This is a conversation for us to all continue to move forward. Like we said on the show tonight, none of us are perfect. None of us. Today was kind of a rough day for me. We have those rough days, but we have the right people, the right community, the right family that we can go to and say, hey, listen, I'm having these thoughts or whatever. If you don't have that person in your life, you need to go find that person. And I'm going to leave you with this exercise because I want to leave you with something that you can tangibly do. And it's super easy. Just list the 5 people you're around the most. The 5 people you're around the most, and just draw a line next to their names and just write positive or negative. And positive means they love you and they want you to go for your dreams and they expect you to go and risk and fall and bleed and sweat and cry. Or negative, they're afraid that you're going to, leave them, or they're afraid you're going to become successful. They're afraid that you're going to fail. You need people on that list that say, yes, I want you to grow. I want you to live. I want you to experience. I want you to go fail, because failing is not failing. Failing is a learning opportunity for you to grow. We've been conditioned to think the mistakes are bad. You had a learning opportunity, not a mistake. You had a learning opportunity to grow. It's about the perspective, right? We talked about it tonight. Just shift your perspective 1 degree. Just 1 degree. That's all we're asking. 1 degree tonight. Just shift your perspective. Tomorrow, wake up and say, you know what? I'm not going to live in the past anymore. I'm not going to look in the rearview mirror to try to drive forward. I'm going to go forward and find the right people, the right tribes, the right families, the people that are going to support me. I'm going to invest in myself, either financially or just go on YouTube and Google and figure out what it is that you're lacking and go fucking find it. It's there. It's free. It's free. And if you don't have the internet, you're not watching this, go find a fucking library. I don't know if you can go inside of them right now, but hey, anyways. So we love you. And anyways, I got to go. And I know my guests got to go. We love you. We love you. Marlene, Mike, thank you so much. Julie, all you guys. Robert, I would love to hug you and thank you all, but just go out and be unstoppable. And most importantly, be the solution you want to see. Don't be part of the problem. Just be part of the solution. All right. Stay unstoppable. We love you. Peace out.